head of sales for India, and then I became chief operating officer for the group for 3 years, and now I head the regulatory sales in the position of multiple business lines. Yeah, so that's it. We'll cut to the chase. We'll start with the presentations. So more or less, it's going to be a one-way presentation for about 45 minutes, and then last 15 minutes we'll have a Q&A where all of you can ask me questions. So here, I would like to uh, share my screen. Just give me a minute. Yeah. Vidhi, can you see my screen? It's shared.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. So topic for today's Mastering Sales Client Profiling Workshop. Yeah, client profiling is one of the starting points and the most interesting and the most important thing when we talk about sales. To identify when I'm taking a product out in the market, client profiling is to understand that who my client is, who's going to buy. If I don't know this, then say, for example, in India, in a country of 1.5 billion people, uh, who is my target audience, who's my client, who's my target buyer. So it's client profiling is very, very important. Otherwise, we can waste a lot of revenue, lot of manpower, and burn our business down if we don't profile our clients and who we need to reach out to. If you look at the most successful companies in last 5 or 6 years, you will see, or in last 10 or 20 years, you will see that they have got a different segment which they work with. When we go further into the workshop, then I'll be giving examples also that how it is done. So yeah, client profiling is one of the most important and the first step in sales. Yeah. Uh, Initial part of my presentation is about my company, which I work for, which I've told you in brief. We are into financial markets. We're into company management, globalization. We've got a bank. We act as trustees, trust services. We write wills. So it's a legal function and a finance function both. We are there in about 40 plus countries, 45 different regulated licenses. We own large CSR projects all across the globe. And our global presence is almost everywhere: Africa, Asia, and Pacific. We're there in South America, Europe, US, and India also. We've been here for past 20 plus years, focused on adding value to clients' business. That is our main this thing. And our tagline is that, we are a trusted partner. Uh, this is trusted partner is a very important thing, which we'll talk about in next 1 hour also. Our CSR project. So yeah. So what is client profiling? Client profiling is actually a process of creating a detailed understanding of clients. How can I move this part, Shubhangi, from here somewhere close? Yeah. So it's about creating understanding of client and customers uh, who will serve our need, or our product will serve their need. So client profiling has been going on for a very, very long time. If you see Tata's, they've been in the market for a very long time, Unilever, and they have been profiling their client very successfully and selling their products globally. At the same time, there are new age companies like new age, I mean last 10 years, 15 years, whatever, who's been very prominent. Companies like Cars 24, companies like Nykaa, Oyo, Patanjali. So these have very modern ways of profiling, which are very focused on demographics like age, gender, location, behavioral patterns of the client. They do a lot of psychological profiling as well, and they go beyond demographics. demographics actually don't just provide insight into personalized strategies. Say, for example, if you take example of Patanjali. So Patanjali's almost 80% of the campaign revolve around the founder and the founder's fan following when he was still as a yoga teacher. So how it grew from there. So it's very important that how your profiling is done, how you capitalize on the skill set which you have. Then there's behavioral, psychographic, and transactional data provides a very clear picture and a very holistic view of the clients. We'll be discussing this much more in detail when we go ahead. The importance of client profiling in the Indian market trends. There's an increasing diversity and a rapid digitalization which is happening, and the consumer is very evolving. Today, you talk about something and discuss something like, say, for a minute and a half, and then when you go on internet, on your Instagram or anywhere, and you start to see that the same product which you were talking about is being pushed onto you. Yeah, so the rapid digitalization is actually changing the profiling. The profiling is now is done that if we talk about certain products or certain use cases, then automatically we become a customer of somebody and a prospect of somebody, and they start working on us. Examples of brand which have succeeded through effective profiling are, like, if you see Amazon, Netflix, Swiggy, Zomato. Zomato, you talk about food and you start getting notifications on your phone. Yeah. And then Spotify. I really admire how Spotify has done it, how they entered into our lives and became one of the most important zero competition allowed around us. Benefits of client profiling is that uh, very improved targeting, a very uh, detailed and improved targeting by understanding the need and behavior, enhancing customer experience, which means that it is very personalized, and better retention and loyalty, customized service products. So I'll break this down. How is this benefiting the organization? It is benefiting the organization in multiple ways, that they reach the target uh, as quickly as possible. The cost of customer acquisition is very low. Your efficiency is super high because you are reaching the target immediately if your profiling is right. If your profiling is wrong, then it's very difficult. Say we talked about Patanjali just now. So had Patanjali been targeting the youth, which was not initially the followers of one of the founders, then they will have to have a different strategy, spend a lot of money and acquire that customer. So for them, the easiest bet was to go with the founder followers. And also they were talking about natural products. It was the products were very cost effective compared to others. So it really fitted into the kind of customers they had profiled for. Enhance customer experience, personalization, which of course happens especially when we do it digitally. Better retention and loyalty. Uh, if if we are taking care of the previous two things, then automatically the customers are very happy with the products. So I've broken this down into deeper profiling, which is beyond demographics. So we've broken them into a few categories. Say psychographics. What do clients care about? Their values, lifestyle, interest, and attitude. So what, say, for example, if you are selling a particular product, of say a furniture or anything, then you have to see the value of your customer. Your customer wants frequent changes, that is your customer, or the customer who buys it once keeps it for next 15 to 20 years. Like my parents, they had one dining table throughout their life. They never changed it in their life. So it all depends upon your products. But then their dining table was made of the finest of the teak, which I probably go and buy now, which will be super expensive. But today, when I buy something or my daughter buys something, she buys something for 3 or 4 years maximum, and then she wants a change in life. So obviously, it depends upon the values, lifestyle, interest, and what is the attitude. Then again, example is that understanding a client value. If the client is eco-conscious, if the client is tech savvy or not. So if my age segment of my product is not, say for example, if I am selling something which can counter diabetes, yeah. So there are exceptions that these days a lot of young people are also getting diabetes, but majorly it is 50 plus. That is where majority of us, my age and more than me, we come across diabetes. Now, how many of us are super tech savvy? So you have to carry out a profiling that how much money you're going to spend on your advertising on each medium, how you will reach out to the customer. Then again, Patanjali again that it is natural, eco-conscious, so tailor-made marketing product. So profiling, psychographics is very important. Second is behavioral profiling. We have to see the customer's action, purchase behavior. There are so many compulsive buyers we see. Uh, what kind of customer we want? A customer which spends a lot of money and then stays on for a very long period of time, not buying anything. Or we want a customer which pays a reasonable amount of money but keeps buying again and again. So finding the right kind of customer for us depending upon their purchase behavior. These days, so I mentioned website and social media interaction. Today, you go to any website, they have got a WhatsApp tab, and the customer can get in touch with you, and you can really feel what they actually want and what you can propose to them. So you can really engage with them. Earlier, this engagement was very, very one way. If you see, it was not very interactive. 15 years ago, you would have an advertisement on television and there was no interaction. Interaction was only through marketing agencies, feedback would come, but there was no interaction. So today, uh, the things have changed because of technology and media, and you can one can really interact with their customers and find their pain point and address as well. Now, coming to pain point, which is one of the most important things while you're doing profiling. If I'm selling my product, when I work at Amicorp, I sell globalization to clients, that companies who are going outside India. So how many people should I reach out to? If I reach out to every company in the country, it will take me years, maybe decades, out of which only 0.05% would actually be going overseas. So I have to streamline my profiling. So how I do it? I I go to a client or tax consultants where client is discusses with them as a business strategy that they want to go overseas. There are hundreds and thousands of companies at ROC, but for me, what matters is only that 0.5% which are actually going overseas and where I can globalize them and open their offices globally. Yeah. So if I start to target rest of the companies remaining, it will be a humongous target. I can't run business like that. So I have to reach out to those particular clients who actually need my service and then address the pain point. Of course, there are tools like Google Analytics, heat maps, and CRMs software which can reveal these client relationship management software which can reveal these insights. Then there's something important called transactional data, the past purchase, which is super important. So if your client, if you find somebody who is doing, say, 10 purchases in 6 months, is important than somebody who's doing 1 or 2 purchases. and how much amount of energies and you are going to put and finances you're going to put on each is very, very important. So past purchase frequency and then type of purchase. If if carrying out one transaction in 6 months of a higher value, or somebody's carrying out six transactions of lower value in 6 months, both of them are important, but there's a different approach to each one of them. In my experience, I have seen that a person with the high value of transaction, it takes a lot of time to close the deal, because somebody is spending a lot of money, he takes time to think. But if the the multiple purchases in a short period of time, if the frequency is very high, then you have got a different approach. Tailored product recommendation based on these data points. If someone, say, bought a running shoes or a fitness, if somebody bought a running shoes, which means that that person is into running, and then he will need other things also. He might need a bottle, he might need jackets, he'll need various other sports related gear. So from transactional data from one purchase, you can make out actually that what else will be needed by this person, and we profile this person as a prospect for the other products also. Then we have something called geographic profiling, moving beyond basic location. Because of upsurge in the courier companies like deliveries and DHLs and various courier companies, uh, the regions have come close to each other. So these days, we tend to move beyond the basic location, and we look at local trends. So I was working with an agri-tech company, and they were uh, selling input categories, say like seeds and various other things, into a part of UP, half a part of UP, say you can say a quarter of UP, less than half. And suddenly, in a particular month, it is a tech company, we started seeing upsurge in Andhra, super high, with zero marketing, zero this thing. And that's when we realized the product actually, which was tailor-made for Eastern UP, was picked up in Andhra and probably grown and had shown some great results. And immediately the profiling changed, and the team started to do a bit of research, and they found that there's a bigger market lying over there. So these days, data points actually uh, uh, help you with geographic profiling. And then, of course, customer behavior, urban versus rural. 80 to 75 to 80% of country's population approximately is still rural, stay out of the metros. So if our products are concentrated, unless it's a strategy, then it's different. But if the products are concentrated only uh, in urban areas, while they have got a large market in rural also, then definitely our profiling needs an update. Social and cultural context, how culture influences choices, especially in Indian context. Like you must have seen that during Diwali, there's an upsurge in sales in products like kurtas and anything to do with home decor also, anything culturally which fits into our culture. So there's a big upsurge in that. People spend a lot of money. So Diwali comes with a wedding season also. So you will see all these things going up. Now, during that time, if you have got business related to that, then your profiling should evolve around that kind of customer base. So the culture influences our profiling. Uh, Most of the big brands, Big Bazaar, Flipkart, Amazon, they start to push discounts onto us during that period of time, because they know that the customer is out there buying. So it is the time to push these products. Yeah. So how do we carry out effective client profiling? So we have various data collection tools these days. Earlier, we used to have surveys, interviews, and we used to focus certain amount of people. So 10 to 15 years ago, when AI and tech was not easily available. At that time, there were companies who would carry out surveys and interviews of people and take the feedback and give to the companies. These feedbacks and surveys were actually sold for a very large amount of money. There's a lot of people made money out of this. Off late, there's more like social media listening tools are there. Siri is listening to you all the time and starts to push data onto you. Social media listening tools, monitoring conversation, analyzing sentiments. Then there are CRMs, customer relationship management systems. So through CRM also you can. Uh, then there are segmentation models we can do, how we can profile a client. Recency, frequency, and monitoring. That how recent the client has purchased something, what is the frequency, and what is monetary, what is the value of that product for the transactional behavior of a client. Say if I'm buying a shirt, then how recent did I buy one? What has been my past frequency of buying it, so that I can envisage that when my next purchase will be done. Or it also try to understand my mindset. I'm a compulsive buyer, I buy very frequently, and what is the value. With this you can actually profile that how important this client is. Yeah. And then also something called the customer lifetime value. This is also very important. We actually, all of us, if any of you is into sales, we are actually doing this. But we are doing this just by way of a gut feeling, uh, not very systematically, but we actually do it. We say, you're sitting, you are there at a shop, you visit a shop, there's a shopkeeper, and there are two, three people, two, three customers he has, and there's one customer in particular who started to ask him, inquire about most expensive things. He's asking about suits, and the person says that, hey, I'm getting married in next say 2 months or so. So suddenly that person starts to get more attention because his value is high. Also, when he says that, oh, there's a wedding in the family, then they know that he's not going to buy one but three or four, because there are different functions and various other things. And mentally start paying more attention to him. And then there'll be somebody who's buying a pair of socks or something or the other, you're not much interested in him. So customer lifetime value, monitoring, monetary value, frequency. So we prioritize people, we profile people onto that. Sometimes we make mistakes in this, that we don't understand that the person who's buying a lesser value item can be a customer also. So by behave, so it's not just one thing, but like I said, behavior also. And it's very important what that person is wearing, what that person is driving. Then you can gauge actually that what segment is he in. Then we have got AI and machine learning. So clients have got a very personalized experience these days, of they are profiled in such a way that they have got a great personal experience. So one can use AI tools for client profiling. It is important. We have also started to use, and almost all of us must be seeing this on Instagram these days, that how we as clients are profiled, and people come on to us, these brands come on to us for exactly the same thing what we want. So many times it has happened. I've been talking to my daughter, when I tell her that, look at this brand or this shirt or these shirts or these things are in fashion these days, because every day I'm getting a repeated push and repeated advertisements. And she says, no, I'm not seeing any of it at all. She's seeing something completely different. She has not even seen something once, which I'm seeing maybe 10 to 15 times a day, which means that brand has profiled something so intelligently that me, who is the actual customer for that thing, is there, and my daughter is not. Probably she's seeing something different. Now, recommendation engine used by companies Netflix and Spotify. I'll not get into technical details. I'm not a very technical person when it comes to tech. I'm not an engineer or something. I'm a salesperson. But yeah, Netflix and Spotify, large companies, they put in a lot of money in the technology to understand the client. Spotify, to the extent that if you listen to a particular kind of music in a particular time of the day, then starts to push. Like if using religious music or bhajans or something in the morning once or twice, then third or fourth day your playlist in the morning is is typically one which you've been kind of listening to. Yeah. So uh, and of course there's real-time data to personalize experience dramatically. So you browse one ad and you start getting 10 different ads. So it boils down to the something similar what I said earlier. So, case studies and examples, there are a lot of companies like Myntra, Flipkart, Amazon. They use deep client profiling. They see your footsteps when you go onto their sites, what you see. It is not just the initial part when you talk about something, you start getting ads. It is also about when you get into their website, what you're looking for. If I like to play golf, and if I'm very passionate about it, then at least once in 2 or 3 days, I go and start looking for important things. And that's when they start to push. They collect all the data related to golf or cricket or whatever, and then to start to push to all of us. Or how Swiggy, Zomato, and Chayos and Zomato ads were really funny some time ago. You would get a notification that it starts to rain, and gets a push notification asking if you want to order pakoras and chai, to that extent. So it is so localized geographically. Amazing, right? That it's not raining in the entire country. It's raining in some part of Delhi or Mumbai or somewhere, and he starts to tell you need pakoras. And at the same time, the supply chain logistics, how it is maintained in the background. Because if it is pushing to 200 people in that area that you should order pakoras, then they should have at back end amount of raw material things to make and supply. But then this client profiling and behavioral data is utilized repeatedly, research done, that how much it will be needed in this much time, kind of a thing. So yeah. So these are some case studies. Say, for example, Tatas, if you see, Tatas are all about trust. Yeah. If you sit in your home, you've got Voltas air condition, one has got a Tata car. In your kitchen, you use Tata Salt. Uh, at when you're going at work, somebody might be using some product which is related to Tata Consultancy, which is a technology company or something or the other. So how deeply they are into your house, and they know each one who's going to buy what. So the profiling is done there. So these are a few of the examples, global examples. Amazon, of course. Starbucks has got, they keep on giving you personalized offers. I love cappuccino, and I get only cappuccino related things. I never get Americano related push or something or the other. Same thing with Chios. I never get black tea or something related. So that's how they have done the client profiling. All of you are young professionals, and how to start with this? You can start small. Technology these days is available to everyone. Whatever CRM is available, and social media insights are there to understand the client behavior. And then you have to develop a systematic approach to each segment of client based on the data you collect. Everything, all the data, everything what you collect is not needed. You will need only a fraction and a fraction of it. And you have to understand that which is the client. Now, I don't know which all industry you are associated with, professionals, entrepreneurs, and various things. But like I said, when it comes to me, it is 0.005% of the entire companies in this country are my clients. Yeah, and I profile them that way. A company which is, since we are into globalization, which means we help companies go overseas. So what the companies which are large enough for India, financially, good balance sheet, who has got a business which can go overseas very easily. For example, Uber. Uber is in one country, tech company, very easily it can go to 40, 50 countries. Perfect line for me. Oyo, another tech-driven client. But at the same time, there might be some other company, which is, say, a manufacturing unit or something or the other, not possible to set up manufacturing units in all the countries. So that manufacturing side may not be my client, but the sales side of that can be my client, depending upon uh, if they want to go overseas. So so it's a very thin segment in every business. There's no business which has got a very large segment. If there's a very large segment, there are multiple players in it. So the share of the pie is almost negligible. So if youngsters have to start with profiling, then CRM and social media insights is very important. And then there are a lot of tools these days. So I was doing a research, in my company, we've got a tie-up with Zoho, a large scale tie-up with Zoho. So we use a lot of, earlier we were using a lot of products from Europe and the US, since it's a multinational. And then we started, so when I took over as chief operating officer, I started pushing Indian tech companies within the organization, and they realized that the cost of the Indian tech companies very less. So we use a lot of Zoho for CRM and various other things. They're free tools. Google Analytics is there, which is very, very easily available. Facebook Insights, HubSpot, LinkedIn Insights are there. Uh, there are paid tools, which are there, Salesforce, Marketo, and various other, just as an example. And that's all for me.
Okay.
Want to mention is that something very interesting happened. I was traveling to Dehradun, driving down, and I was reaching very late. I've got my cousins living there, and I asked them that I've got a driver, and it was winters, last month, and they said that we don't have place in Rajai or whatever, winter gear for him. So he won't be able to stay at home. The other option is he stays in car, which is not possible in winters. And that was the first time I downloaded Oyo's app. And within like 3 minutes, I could book a room for 900 rupees for him. It was so simple as that. Why I did not have it? Because in last 10 years, I was not the client for them, actually. But if you see, there's zero competition for that brand in the market. I remember 15 years ago, if somebody would come and would need a room for 500,000 rupees, he would go opposite a railway station in a dharamshala or a inn. Probably somebody would take a room highly unsafe, whatever. So how a brand actually profiles its clients and sends the data which is required to the right person, right client, is so that's also the one of one good example. Cars 24 also, like I was talking at home about selling a car, and I start getting push from Car Dekho and Cars 24 and Spinny within a short period of time. So they also use a lot of technology in client profiling. Yeah. So I think Preeti, we are open for questions. I've spoken a lot, and
Yeah, yeah.
if somebody
Actually,
has something, yeah.
actually, I would like to ask my audience, if you guys have any question, please write it down to our Q&A so I can ask it to Mr. Sahil and he will definitely answer these questions. Actually, we got few questions. Okay, so there is a guy named as Anirban. He has asked, how is client profiling, segmenting, and targeting a different exercise for a high volume, low value FMCG B2C client versus low volume, high value slash stakes B2B clients?
Low volume, low value, high volume B2B, and the first one was
No, high volume, low value FMCG B2C clients
hmm,
versus low volume, high value B2B clients.
yeah. So uh, high volume, low value, and low volume, high value. Even if we keep that aside, the moment we talk about B2C and B2B, it's completely different segment to each other. When we are doing something B2B, the profiling is completely different from that. We are dealing one business to other business who eventually is probably reaching out to the client. Yeah. So So when you are doing B2B profiling is of course will be different because there's a very limited client segment, limited audience for you. Low volume and high value will definitely go, because when you're doing B2B, the volumes are really high, but the value is very high. But when you are doing B2C, there are multiple consumer you have. It's completely different marketing segment. So I'll give an example. There is Haldiram's, not now, about 20 years ago. I would see Haldiram's ads in a lot of magazines. Yeah, I would see them in magazines, hoardings, and various other things. While there was a brand who would supply a lot of raw material to them. I came across them. I cannot name them due to confidentiality, but they would supply 30 to 40% of the raw material to them. And I would never see them on any of the hoardings or this thing, but they were always there in the B2B magazines. There were specific magazines where they would market themselves, or shoe manufacturers from Agra or Chennai, the exporters and others. So you will not see them. They are majorly B2B. You don't see them as normal. You don't see them out in the market, normal consumers like me and you. But I was in Italy, and I was sitting with a shoe importer there who markets, and that's where I saw about 10 to 15 brands from India which I had never heard of. So B2B, low volume, high value, is completely different profiling to B2C, high volume, low value. I mean, completely non-comparable. It's a different segment, it's a different people, different marketing approach, different profiling approach. One can be an industry, other than can be an individual consumer. So it's completely different approach, Anirban, to that.
Okay, so he has asked two more questions actually.
Yeah.
What is client profiling? How is client profiling different from customer segmentation, and how does this help in customer journey? Is focused client profiling good versus broad based client profiling?
Can you just repeat the question?
Yeah. How is client profiling different from customer segmentation,
Okay.
and how does this help in customer journey?
Okay. So client profiling is customer segmentation is can be a part of client profiling. Client profiling is different from it, because in client profiling you are taking a lot of behavioral tactics, a lot of demographical, geographical things. So it's more detailed, more engraved. It is client profiling is more specific. Customer segment can be very vast. My customer segment can be an age group. My customer segment can just be a certain value related thing. But profiling is more detailed, where it takes multiple factors into account and reach there.
Yeah. So he have one more question. How can SEO and SEM and ChatGPT help in customer profiling?
Yeah, so ChatGPT, so far what I've seen is, of course, search engine optimizations, SEOs have been used a lot, and they're super successful in this. ChatGPT has been very generic so
Hmm.
far,
Agree.
but SEOs have been too specific. If you compare to two of them, then of course SEOs has been a very proven concept in last so many years. ChatGPT still, I find, when it comes to profiling, when it comes to broad guidelines, it's fine. When it comes to detailed profiling, then definitely you need SEOs, because SEO gives you better insights of of the client.
Okay, so Muhammad Momin has asked, how can I increase my sales?
So, what is Mohammed's product? What is he into?
He didn't mention anything. He just asked this, that he have written only like how
So,
can I increase my sales.
so there are various ways to increase your sale. So profiling is only one part of it. There's an entire sales cycle. There's something called prospecting of a client. So I don't know what Mohammed is into, but how I do is that I always maintain a 200 uh, prospects list at all times. Now, my prospect list can be anyone who wants to set up companies overseas. So it can be anyone. Today, I pick up economics time, I see an ad of a company, this is my prospect. So I always maintain 200 prospects at the same time, every time live. And then I try to create a lead out of them, out of the prospect. What I do is that I say find a connect. How do I enter? So say for example, I'll give you an example. If Nika is my in my prospect list, that I realized I through net research I find that Nika is thinking of, or in an interview of one of the founders I see that Nika is thinking of going overseas, then Nika becomes my prospect. And then I start to work on Nika creating a lead. I try to find a connect where how I can reach out to them. So these days, LinkedIn is very easy to find a connect in large companies, key people. So then I go to the right person also. So there can be 500, 10,000 or 1,000 people working in Nika, but a person who is in charge of taking the company overseas in my domain is head of legal or head of tax. So I find that, and this is I create a contact, and then I find ways to reach out to them. So I generally don't reach out to them directly. I reach out to them through references, because reference is one of the most important thing. Because if there's a prospect, if I make a cold call to the prospect, there's a chance that he may not be interested, or he doesn't know me at all, and he'll just disconnect the phone. It happens, we every day we get calls from so many telecallers. But the moment somebody refers somebody to you, then it's a different ball game. So that's what I do. So I use a reference there so that my lead is strong. And then I reach out to them. I create a contact out of them, that they become my contact. I start conversation with them. But before that, I address their pain point, Mohammed. What
Yeah,
is they
he
want?
have written down that he want to know like FMCG product sales and garment product. He want to, his
So
last question is
FMCG
regarding
or
that.
garment products, so you have to see what is the pain point. So when you say increase the sales, which means you're already selling something, right? Because and you want to take it above. So same process. You have to find, say, if you want to do a large amount of sale in a short period of time, or a large volume like Anirban was talking about, then we can go for a low volume high value sale, B2B. We identify a B2B client, a prospect, B2B prospect, who can buy large amount of whatever the product which you are selling, or FMCG or whatever, B2B. And then we reach out to them. And we have multiple prospects for this, because one, two, three might fail and the fourth one might work. So first we do prospecting, then we create a lead, then we make a contact of that, and then uh, we in during this we understand what is the pain point of the client. Why should the client buy my product? What problem my product is going to solve? What is my competition in the market? What is the cost? What is the price what they are offering to my client? So there are multiple things into this, and all these things put together can take your sales up. Yeah, profiling is one of them, but then how to reach out to that segment is also important. Once you reach out to that segment in FMCG or garments or whatever, what is the differentiator? What are you giving it to him differently, that he should go to you, not to Preeti, not to me, or not to anyone else? Why should it go to Mohammed? So this is the most important thing. What is your differentiator? And then you highlight that this is one. And what is the client's pain point? How you can address it with your product? So those things.
Okay, so next question is asked by Mr. Subir. So he is asking what is sale optimization, and he has asked two question actually, three actually. Sales optimization value and original value can be same. So these two actually.
This I will have to check because this was about profiling and sale optimization. We are going to a different this thing,
Okay.
but if we can stick to the topic of profiling majorly, then it will be good.
Okay. So we have one question from Divya. She's asking, would like to know how to overcome the challenges that we face in sales if we have a big target to achieve in B2C.
Yeah, so if you have a large target to achieve in say B2 sales, B2C sales. Now again, B2C sales, can you ask Divya that what is her product? Then I
Yeah.
can be more specific on that.
Yeah, Divya, please write it down. So, okay, education.
Education. Yeah, so if you are selling education, education is a conventional education is a very linear and a sequential product until technology came into it and it started to reach out to a lot of people. I have worked with a few edtech companies, uh, not not as a job, but I've helped edtech companies go overseas in a very short duration of time. So yeah, so B2C sales, uh, technology driven is one. The other is acquisition is one of the other means to increase sales, which has been successfully done by a lot of companies in the past. But as an individual, if you are doing B2C education sales, then definitely tech is, and which is going to help, and ways and means like what we discussed. You have got a specific age group. Your advertising campaign should be limited to that age group because your product is for a specific age when it comes to education,
Hmm.
whether it is upskilling. Yeah, so that is one thing. The other is that in profiling, it is important that who is paying for that education is very important. So that should be a part of your customers segment. Say if I'm selling products for class, say class ninth and 10th or high school or something, then one is that the high school student is important, but my customer profile should also have the parents who
Hmm.
are going to pay for it, because they should have the trust in my product that I should be able to sell. Yeah.
So, Anirban asked one more question. I am an independent consultant for IT and financial consulting. And how can I make use of customer profiling in this B2B market in India?
IT and financial and IT and financial both, or fintech, he's saying. Can you repeat just one more?
I'm an independent consultant for IT and financial consulting. And how can I make use of customer profiling in this B2B market in India?
Okay, so customer profiling is for any product. So not just IT and fintech, for any product, customer profiling is the must. Like I said, that all of us are doing it. In IT and finance consulting, yes, you can do it. Like one is like initially I said that behavioral, that who to identifying who are the people, who is the B2B segment, the business segment which needs your service. Say for example, if there is a big four, say EY, Deloitte, or somebody, they have everything in house. But if there is a mid size or an SME uh, which cannot afford a big four, maybe you is the right client for you. Somebody who cannot afford since you are doing consultancy, we identify your competition. And so once we identify your competition, then we see that the clients which cannot afford a large consultancy firm, the MSMEs are your clients. And then you, since if you are working as an independent freelancer, and then you see that what is your skill set, what kind of consultancy, because IT and financial two different things and very, very large. In tax, in finance you have tax, in finance you have cross border tax, in finance you have GST and various other things. So which one is it? And also, what is your skill set in it? It depends upon that also, and how much the client need. So client profiling, all the initial points which we discussed, each one of it is important for you, because then only you can see that which one fits your bill. uh, I mean, for somebody like you, Anirban, this is most important. This is like Bible. When I started like this only. So whatever I wrote, whatever I said is completely as per this. When I'm also a consultant like you, financial and partially legal. So when I work with a company, I do exactly the same thing. First, I see that whether I'm addressing their pain point or not, whether I provide a solution to them, not a product, which is important. Number one. Number two, uh, who else are they reaching out to for this service? Then I look at my cost. I look at is the other people's cost analysis I do. Patterns that this particular client in how much time has he taken. So usually in our industry, you come to know that somebody is fishing for a very long period of time. Then how much time should I spend on that? What are the resources I have to fulfill the client needs? There is a possibility that, like recently, a client wanted to go for a listing, overseas listing, and I realized that alone I don't have the skill set for it. So I associated myself with people like Anirban and multiple people, and then we reached out to the client. So there are multiple things in this, Anirban, that to increase. But yeah, client profiling is super important, and every point which we discussed adds value to your SME business. I think it's small, mid-sized.
So Aditya has asked, I am in insurance sector. How can I use this over there?
Okay, so just one more question. What kind of insurance do you do, Aditya? Car insurance or LICs or personal insurance? What kind?
Aditya, please write it down in our Q&A session. So
Yeah, so no worries. So insurance, again, client profiling must in insurance, because insurance is one business. Traditionally, it has been coming with
uh,
reference
he has answered actually life and health.
life and health. Life and health in most of the times comes via references. So like I said that for you, client profiling, mm, so if you in I personally have seen, I get a lot of cold calls uh, for insurance and various other things, and I've never gone with them. Personally, I have always gone in when it comes to insurance through references, because uh, when you need an insurance is a very critical time whenever you'll need insurance. And that is the time when you need that whoever has done your insurance. So I had a car accident. I used to call my agent. I never called the insurance company. And he would organize everything in a very short period of time. So client profiling is very important here for you, Aditya, because most of the people are like me. They go by your references. So your efficiency will always be high if you go through reference method of client profiling rather than cold calling and reaching out just like that.
So I hope everybody get their answers now. So I think like okay, so thank you so much, Mr.
And
Sahil.
always reach out to me on LinkedIn or somewhere. Always they're happy to help. I try to stick to the the subject we had today, because so there's only one question, but
Yeah, yeah.
always reach out to me separately, and I can discuss with them. I'm available on phone call also, and I'm available via email also. I'm sorry for that, but here we wanted to stick to client profiling so that I can answer maximum queries as possible.
Yeah. Sure, we understand that. And thank you so much, Mr. Zahir, for sharing your valuable insights with us today. Your advice on understanding client more deeply is something we can all use in our businesses. I'm sure everyone will leave with some great ideas to put into practice. It's clear that your experience it working with businesses across the globe really bring a unique perspective to the table. We are working with a like see all better see I just want to say thank you to you and our audience as well for joining us today. If you for audience, I want to tell if you could just take 2 minutes to fill out the feedback form shared in the chat, it would be greatly appreciated. Your feedback help us to improve and deliver even better session next time. So yeah,
And
stay tuned for
so like to
next
thank
session.
all the audience and wish them all the best in whatever they are doing. Aditya, Divya, Nirban, all of you,
Yeah.
uh, very well and be very successful. And you can reach out anytime that you want to our team at Shine or to me, anyone else.
Yes, sure.
Thank
Thank you so much, Sahil. Thank you so much.
you. Yeah, bye bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Take